What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a little tutorial with the new, if I could find it, with the new Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is also going to be a first impression of this palette, so I won't say much about it right now. You'll just have to see how it goes as we go along. Basically what we're going to do though is like a gold smoked out sort of a classic eye look. I did some faux freckles just to jazz it up a little bit. If you don't like faux freckles, just skip it. No need to leave comments about it. I don't care. All jokes aside though, if you don't like any part of the look, if you'd rather do it with a red lip, if you don't want to do the freckles, you can always switch it out. Always remember that you can totally customize this stuff to make it your own. And not only that, I would love to hear how you plan to customize my looks and make them your own. Leave me a comment and tell me. I would love to hear about it. Before we get started, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you don't mind, because that really helps me out and I would appreciate you until the end of time. Also, do not forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because if you don't, you're gonna miss out on all of the next things that are coming down the pipeline. And also, if you don't, it's gonna hurt me in my heart just a little bit. Oh, it hurts. Ow. Oh, my feelings. Please, just don't hurt my feelings. So if you want to see how I did this look with the Soft Glam palette and what I thought of it, then just keep on watching. Okay, here it is. This is actually my first time even opening this palette. It came the other day and I haven't even had a chance to look at it because things have been a little like crazy over here, but now we're getting like the real deal first impression. The outside has the same packaging as Modern Renaissance and Subculture. Essentially, personally, I find that this type of packaging looks gorgeous. However, it gets dirty really quickly, so I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is very nice and luxurious looking, so there's always that. Oh, and we have a piece of plastic inside I just found. That is what the inside of the palette looks like. The colors are just what you would expect for a Soft Glam palette. A few of these colors are already existing Anastasia shades, which is usually the case with their palettes, and then there's some newbies as well. I'm not going to be swatching this palette today. We're just going to go right in and do it on my eyes. I've said this a few times before, but if you are new here, I don't usually find that swatching palettes is the best way to do a first impression or a review of them, because swatches basically mean nothing. You can get a really great swatch from a palette and it can look like dog shit on your eyes, or you can get a really bad swatch and it can look bomb on your eyes. There's really no real correlation between the two, unfortunately. So sometimes I'll do like quick swatches just so you can see like the different shimmer or like the different finish of products on my Instagram stories and stuff like that. But for like an actual video, I don't think it's worth it to add that length to the video. And as a transition shade, I'm going to use the color Orange Soda, which is actually a transition shade that I've used from their singles before quite a few times. Ooh, hair everywhere, hair. But yeah, I've used that before many times and I actually really like it as a transition shade. So let's see how the formula translates in this here palette. Next, I'm going to use a MAC 217S brush and I'm going to pick up a little bit of the color Sienna. So far, the pigmentation on that is really, really nice. They said that this was supposed to be the same formula as the Modern Renaissance palette. So far, that does seem to be the case because it's not like the over pigmentation of Subculture, but it is definitely very, very pigmented. And I'm gonna pick up a clean blending brush and just blend the edges of that a scooch. On the same MAC 217S brush, I'm going to pick up a little bit of the color Mulberry, and I'm going to pack that in the outer corner of the lid. As time goes by. And I'm going to blend that again. So there is a little bit of kickback, but not like an extreme amount or anything. Now I'm going to pick up a MAC 221S brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that shade Mulberry and I'm going to connect it underneath my eye and smoke out the lower lash line with it a bit. Some of the old songs. And on a Sigma E30 pencil brush, I'm going to pick up a little bit of the color Noir, which I'm so happy they put this in this palette because this is one of my favorite black shadows of all time. And I'm just going to tap that on the lower lash line and I'm going to bring that into the outer corner as well on the top. I'm getting a little bit of fallout with this shade, but it's a black shadow, so I'm not terribly surprised.
Some of the old songs.
I'm noticing as I blend this that it is doing that thing that people were complaining about with the Subculture palette, where you blend over it and the darker shadows seem to just disappear a little bit. So far I'm only noticing it on like the actual darkest shade of all, but not a great sign though. I'm blending in a very small space right now, so I'm not sure. It's hard to tell the severity of it, but I did notice that some of the pigmentation is leaving as I blend it out. I'm gonna pick up that MAC 217 brush again and the shade Mulberry, and I'm going to kind of smoke out the whole bottom lash line with that, just to make this a little bit more of an intense look in general. I want to do a pop of metallic on the inside portion of the lid here. That's why I left that open. So I'm going to pick up a flat brush. This is MAC 242S, and I am going to go into the shade Bronze. Okay, Bronze has a lot of fallout. I'm going to brush that away. I'm also not really completely impressed with the amount of pigment that just went down with that, so I'm going to try doing it wet. Okay, I think in general maybe this color is just not that exciting. Okay, for some reason that eye looks a lot more intense. On a clean pencil brush, this is a Morphe E18 brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the color Fairy, and I'm going to use that to highlight my inner corner a little bit. Okay, so I've been like trying to build up the black in this outer corner and in my crease for like 5 minutes off camera, and every time I do it, the pigment just disappears in my crease. And it's so funny because everyone was saying that this is the issue they were having with the Subculture palette, and I didn't really have that issue so much, and now this is supposedly the same formula as Modern Renaissance palette, which I absolutely adore. And it doesn't do this on me, and this is doing it on me. So I don't really understand what the hell's happening here. But I'm not in love with how that looks on my outer corner right now. The candle is fucking... Do you hear it? Bruh, I'm like filming and shit. Calm down. I feel like it still looks patchy. I've been in there over it at least 3, 4, 5 times now, and it's still patchy. It's kind of getting on my nerves.
As time goes by.
I mean, this is like at a point where it's acceptable. I would wear this, but I had to work really hard to get here. So I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, so the eyes are pretty much as good as I think I'm going to get them right now. I am going to pop off camera, clean up some of the fallout that happened here, and pop on some lashes, and then we'll move on. Okay, so I got the eyes to a decent place. I don't feel like this is the most exciting makeup look I've ever done in my life. I think I'm gonna jazz it up a little bit by doing like a really poppin' heavy highlight. I'm reaching out of camera, pardon me. With the AMREZY highlight, I already used this in the last video that I filmed for you guys, but if you didn't watch that yet, you should go back and watch my full review. But I do like it, it's very nice. It's not my favorite highlighter at the moment, but it's nice. It's a really nice highlighter. I'm not mad that I bought it, and it's definitely very poppin', especially on camera. I've noticed that in person it looks more subtle, and in pictures it looks like insane. It looks insanely amazing in pictures. So I'm gonna pop that all over the fotch, And then I think I'm gonna do some light faux freckling and maybe like a mole or something, because I want to keep it within the neutral tones with this palette, but I also don't want it to just be like just the most boring makeup look of all time. So that's the plan. Also, I really love really highlighted skin with freckles over the top, just saying. To do the freckles, I'm going to use 2 colors of the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I'm going to use dark brown and ebony, as well as the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in number 4. That way I have like 3 different shades, so it gives a little bit of variation between them. I'm gonna start with the pencil because that's the easiest one. For the 2 pomades, I'm just gonna go back and forth between them on a very skinny liner brush. This is a Makeup Forever 250 liner brush. I'm going to tap over them with my finger just to kind of blend them into the face and make them a little more subtle. Usually this kind of melds them in with whatever makeup you have around them. But if you note that like the freckles look a little bit bigger than you might want to wear them, first of all, 1 or 2 of them just came out a little bigger than I expected. I'm just going to tap over those a little bit extra. But the other thing is, when I do these and I know that they're going to be on camera or they're going to be photographed, I do them a little bigger because everything looks less on camera. So in real life, if you want to wear these and feel like it looks more natural, try doing the dots a little bit smaller or even a little bit lighter. And then you might find that you get a more real, true, freckly look. Also, just FYI, if you are going to tap over them to try to blend them in more, make sure they're absolutely dry before you start doing that. With the pencil, you don't have to worry about it, but with the pomade you do, and it'll just pick up on your finger and then make a print of them, and you'll have like a repeating pattern. This is not good. Okay, now that those are on, I'm going to douse my whole face in MAC Fix Plus. I find that when you do like a dewy setting spray over a look like this, specifically like faux freckles or a mole or something along those lines, anything with like a faux texture to it or a faux pattern, I guess you would call it, putting a setting spray like Fix Plus just kind of melts everything together nicely, and it also keeps it on more. For the lips today, I'm going to use another one of the liquid lipsticks that I got from Anastasia's latest release. This is the color Hudson, which seems like a pinky nude shade. Here's what it looks like. I'm going to apply this to my lips, and then I think I'm going to highlight the center of the lips with a little bit of the AMREZY highlight on top of that, but I'm going to see what it looks like first and see what I think. I love this shade. This is so pretty. Oh, I feel like it makes my teeth look white too. That's nice. I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of highlight over this lipstick on the Cupid's bow and right in the center, because I feel like I want the dimension, but I don't want to overdo it because the color of this lipstick is so pretty. I don't want to cover it. And here's the finished look. As far as the palette itself is concerned, I'm not sure. Like, I'm totally sitting the fence on this right now because I feel like I don't think that it's the same as Modern Renaissance, but I would like to compare them because I just don't feel like they're really the same. This reminds me more of the formula in the Prism palette than it does the formula in Modern Renaissance, personally, in that I found that like they were very, very pigmented and intense shadows, but sometimes when I blended them out, it just, like, the pigmentation was just disappearing and falling out into the abyss, which I was able to work around today for the most part. I don't think that it's like this is my favorite glam eye look that I've ever done. I think that I really had to hold back on the blending a little bit because I felt like I was blending away the color. But that being said, the colors that didn't have that happen are really pretty. Like the color Mulberry is like the perfect oxblood shade, and I didn't find that it was doing that at all. Like I felt like the formula in that matte shade was completely different than the matte black, which I've used their matte black before from a million of their other palettes, and it's never done that before. So I'm a little confused. I don't know why I was having that issue, but the palette overall is beautiful. I don't think people use black shadow every single day of their life, and the rest of the shadows seem to be fine. Bronze had a lot of fallout, but to be fair, I was using it on a flat brush and packing it down, so that tends to create more fallout anyway, so it might have just been the way I was using it. Everything else worked really nice. Fairy was a very pretty inner corner highlight. Like I said, Mulberry is a beautiful matte shade. Sienna blended perfectly. Burnt Orange blended perfectly. I really just had trouble with the shade Noir mostly. So I'm gonna make use of this for the rest of the week and play around with some of the other shades, and I will keep you guys updated on what I think of the rest of it. But as of right now, I'm like halfway between loving it and being a little tiny bit disappointed. I just can't make the full judgment yet. I think I need to play with it a little bit more. And that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've tried the Soft Glam palette, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you had any trouble with any of the shades, if you thought it was perfect, if you think it's the same as Modern Renaissance. I would love to know. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because that helps me out tremendously. And also do not forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because I would love to have you stick around and see some future videos, see the update on what I think of this palette, things of that nature. You know, stick around and we'll all go through this journey together. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little while and chatting about makeup, and I will see you in the next one.